one of the phenomena that's supposed to take place with 2012, and it may not happen in that year, but the polarization of the earth is reversing.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that. The first animals on the planet that will be affected by that are the animals that take flight.
Yeah, birds.
So, well, the bees as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all I'm saying is we're going to start seeing that. What does that mean to us? You know, following nature and trying to figure that out spiritually, I don't know. But we are going to start seeing this have an effect on the animals. And it does seem like a negative thing, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not at all.
But see, I love that kind of stuff because we're seeing the effects now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we, and you go back to what Pastor said, if we're dealing with ourselves just being these bodies, then we're always dealing with the past. You see what I'm saying? We're dealing with things as though we're stuck in time, because the body is stuck in time.
Right.
Now, if we're dealing with who we are, right, and this is what all the scriptures are talking about, because you look at Noah, right, and I've said this before, those examples of the flood, those are pole shifts. It's not the first time this has happened. What happens is those who are connected deal beyond time. They prepare themselves by setting the context according to the creator beyond events and time, so they prepare themselves. And that's what I think is going on now.
And we talked about that before. This happens every few thousand years.
Yeah.
And it is another opportunity for the earth to regain its balance.
Right. You see, so it's like we have to think beyond waiting for events. You remember how it was Y2K, everybody waiting?
Yeah.
Because we're disconnected. We don't know how to respond. When we're connected, then the information comes up within us. You see? So that's a big part of what we're doing, because the highest context we can put on this is this, that all of this is drawing us back to one another. Because animals, you know what I mean, the death that occurs because of our disconnection. A lot of things that happen negatively as a result of our disconnection, but by us connecting, we are ahead of schedule, so to speak. We know how to handle how the earth and
even influence it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely have to influence it.
Yeah.
Carl?
I've been thinking about something that happened with me when my granddaughter passed away. And he was talking about the breath and how it's, how it affects our body. I remember when I asked the Lord, why wouldn't he just wake her up, because I didn't want her to leave. And he said to me, he said, the choice is hers, okay? He says, I don't take away your breath, you give it back, okay? If she decides that she wants to come back and be with you, she can do that. But if she decides that she wants to come home and be with me, I'm going to receive her, okay? So is it that we choose to change from one place to the other, like we choose to change from this dimension and go on? So when our breath leaves our physical body, is that a choice that we make, or is it? I know it's not taken from us because God doesn't do that. Okay?
It's not always a choice we make, no. Because let's take for example, somebody's riding down the road and a drunk driver hit him and died. Those things happen. They didn't say that, well, a drunk driver will hit me and I'm going to release from this earth. That happened. Now, once they leave the body, the life leaves the body, what happens to it is still up for debate. I don't know. Okay. And when I say I don't know, I'm talking about the context of what's going on the other side. I do believe that, however, that there are influences from the other side. I do believe that there are influences from the other side that move us on the right path if we choose to follow them. And that's what happened to Jesus at the Mount Transfiguration thing. As far as you talking about us, right now, I believe that if something happened to me because of the awareness that I have, I would have that choice.
Right.
I believe that. And there are people who had that choice who were not aware as we are. And they exercise that choice. So that's up to the individual. If we can't say a blanket thing.
Right.
Because there are deaths that God orchestrates. A baby dies, a stillborn baby, that's orchestrated. Why? may very well be to increase the sensitivity of the parents to somebody else's plight. You know, everything that happens for the glory of God, for the rightness of godliness. That everything is supposed to produce right fruit. Everything, regardless of what it, and the only time that it does not produce right fruit is when we don't see it. Let me show you what I mean by that. If you don't see it because of ignorance or because of blindness due to religious glasses through which you're seeing them, what you do, you leave the fruit on the vine too long and it becomes unripe. You see the analogy? If we are aware, for example, if we had not paid any attention to the birds and the fish, we just let it ride, as though we didn't see it, then it would have become rotten fruit. But because we are dealing with it contextually, we have opportunity to pluck the fruit from the vine while it's still ripe. It's like if you're going to make fine wine, you have to pick the grape at the peak. You know, it can't be too soon or too late. It has to be at the peak of their ripeness when you choose them. That's what we are doing with the signs of the times. We have to be cognizant of what's going on around us. I mean, we even dealt with the Obama election thing. You know, we've talked about the oil spill in context of spirituality. Everything that we see, we try to find the gracefulness of the Creator in it. And if it's not there, we don't try to put it there. But we look at it from the perspective of how things were created. Everything was created by speaking it, right? Which means that words. And there are no arguments that the words of the Creator are tied up in the alphabet of the Hebrew. There are no arguments about that. So when we start looking at it from the Hebraic and Aramaic perspective, it gives us a clearer perspective as to what we are actually seeing. And if nothing is there, we don't see anything. But what happens is the things that, when nothing is there, those things you don't hear about. Because there's no point in discussing if nothing is there. But we do discuss them when we see something there, to make you aware of it, so that all of us can end up on the same page. All right?
I don't know what I want to do, so I'll just let it be.